Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Santiago. Um, I okay. So if y'all are sleeping under a rock, pretty much, then y'all should know who Dodash is. Because I have almost 300 of you guys that are subscribed to my channel. That's a blessing. Thank you. Second of all, Um, happy holidays. We're almost into a new year. That's a blessing. If you've made it past COVID and you've made it past all of this destruction of Earth, then you are here now experiencing what life is. So, congratulations, or just take it as as a blessing. So, as you can see in the video, as you can see in the title, I am going to talk more about the 9 to 5 and why I no longer do it, just because I posted a video back. It's been a couple months now, and since I've grown a lot of you guys, a lot more of you guys, shall I say, I wanted to do my experience again with it. So let's go. So I am almost 29, and my very first job, I was 17. Um, and it was actually on a farm, so I did take care of horses, but they weren't your regular horses. They were stallion horses. They competed. They were competitors, and so we had to do the grooming, we had to do, all the bathing, make sure they were getting fed what they were supposed to be getting fed. And we just had to take really good care of them. Now, since it was my very first job, I was excited. I was so excited. Like, can you remember the time when you had your very first job and how excited you may have been because you experienced what it's like to have money in your own pocket and not have to ask anybody for anything? So my experience with that was, it wasn't how planned, because when I got the job working on, my brother actually helped me get that job, but my brother was also the reason why I got fired that day. So even though, yes, I did have my first job, I got my first job, and then I got fired because he asked something to the manager about like us switching our hours, and let's just say he didn't like that. What schedule you had, he wanted you to do, no changing. So I had to beg and plead for that job back, but that's a whole different story. So yeah, and during that time, you know, freshly 17, I feel like. No, it was, I was 17 in a few months, because I knew that August I was going to school. I was going to college, so it was during summer break when I got that job. So 17 during summer break. Have y'all ever just been at a job that you know that moment when, say, like, if you're off on a Sunday, that moment that you have when you know that you have to set your alarm, that you know that you have to be at work at 8 in the morning on Monday. So you maybe had the weekend off, which it was a breeze. The weekend was fun. It was very fun. Like, we had a great time. But in the back of your head, you still knew that, oh my gosh, like, I have to go back to work tomorrow. So it's like everything that you've done that weekend, everything that you had did that weekend, at that point, it didn't really matter, because you knew that work was coming back up and you had to get ready again. I've worked many retail jobs. I've worked many fast food jobs. I've worked many restaurant jobs. I worked for taking care of patients. I worked for a company that it was called Care Advantage. I worked for them. And believe it or not, you guys, right now, what I'm doing with my life and how I'm making some income is I do delivery. And my delivery job is the best job I've ever had since I've experienced what it's like to have a normal job, which is saying something, you know. When you do delivery, the freedom that you have is out of this world. It can kind of get you in trouble if you don't really know how to manage it. So because you're your own boss, so whatever batches you want to take, you can take them, but just know that you can sleep all day if you want to and not go to work. You won't get money, but you can literally sleep. You don't have to call out and be like, "Oh, I can't, I can't do it today. I'm not feeling well." You're your own boss. So, having that freedom was ever since I've started my delivery experience has been such a blessing for me, and I do recommend it. I recommend any delivery jobs that involves an app installed onto your phone to pop up batches for you to go take. I recommend it. Um, if you're in a position where you can do that, I do recommend that. So my experience with the 9 to 5s, I've had one secure job that I had for like 7 years. It was like 7, 8 years. It was from early teenage years, maybe like 18, 19, maybe 18, 19, and all the way up until like 24, 25. So I was there for a while, but in between that, I did go to school. I had to do some jobs over that area, but I always came back to that job. And when I say it was toxic as hell, that'd be an understatement, you guys. There was no security, like no one. The way that the building is shaped, it was like a box. No, it was like a rectangle. It was like a long rectangle, and on the top was an attic. It had a bunch of storage stuff, and it was a tavern. So from dishwasher, prep, um, cook, serving, host, busser. Yeah, I think that's it. That's everything that I did at that restaurant. The only thing I never got to experience while I was there was bartending, and I just didn't never had my license for it. But that restaurant was toxic because not only was it during COVID time, and remember during COVID when we had to wear the mask, we had to wear the mask in the kitchen. So the kitchen was already boiling at damn near field. We're near, ovens, fryers. We're near all that crazy stuff, final destination stuff. We're near it all. But then we have to wear the mask on top of that. Yeah. Let's just say um, it will make you feel like you have to pass out. And I believe that someone did pass out, if I remember correctly. But so I got tired. I got tired of working underneath someone. Like, I mean, I feel like that's not what we money is just money, right? It's a currency. And it they print it out like it's just a piece of paper or it's just a card. You know, I don't see much cash anymore. I don't see people walking around with cash. They put it on a card now. So money's never going to go anywhere. It's always going to be out there. And for these types of jobs that I've worked, you're making $12 an hour, $11 an hour, and you're promised one thing, but you're given another thing. That was another story at my Dollar General job. I was promised 14 an hour, and I was only 12.30 an hour. And I was a key holder, manager. They left me there at that store by myself a few nights. The managers did, even though they weren't allowed to. They left me there, and I was still kind of new. And I was only making 12.30. They were making $15, $16 as a manager, but I was considered a manager. You know, I was promised 14, and at that point, when I found out that I wasn't getting paid what I was promised, I should have just quit. But we feel like when we're secured in that place, and depending on our parents or whoever we are around, like they'll probably like force us into staying or feel like they're forcing us into staying, and we feel like we have no other choice but to stay. So then we stay miserable, keep doing this job to get money, because otherwise we're not going to get any money. We're not going to have enough to move out of our parents' basements. And before my story came out at the age 25, before all that, I was forced into keeping every job that I had, even if I didn't want to. Like the people who were taking care of me, my adopted parents, they said either you have a job lined up, if you're going to quit one, make sure you put your 2 weeks in. They said all that. I had to do like the, traditional put 2 weeks in, respect on the company. And I had to make sure I had another job in line. And most of the time I didn't, it was kind of hard for me to find a job, unless it was just restaurant business industry, because I worked a lot in restaurants. And yeah, like who wants to do a job that you're not getting paid what you're promised? That's not fair. How is that fair? So I got to the point where I believe I saw like an ad on my phone or on TV or something about Instacart and delivery. Or no, it was DoorDash at first. It was DoorDash. Now, because I got in trouble back in 2018, um, I could not do DoorDash. I could not do Grubhub. I could not do Shipt. I could not do any of those other apps. Instacart was the only and is the only app that I can do delivery on for right now. I think I have like maybe another year before it's off of my before it's like off of my record, and then I can reapply in hopes of getting that some more delivery jobs, because I would love to make like what DoorDash had made when she was doing delivery. I would love to make 300 a day. But because I only have one of the apps, and sometimes you have bigger batches, sometimes you don't have any batches. I'm only making up to like maybe 100 a day, which is fine. It's fine because I don't live in like a big nice apartment. I'm in an income based apartment, so it goes based on income. So I'm fine with getting like the 100 a day if I really really worked my butt off and worked all day. But sometimes I don't even do it every day, and that's the blessing of having the freedom to work a job that doesn't even feel like a job. Like, yes, delivery has been one of the hardest jobs. Um, well, first, I feel like YouTube, I feel like creating and content creating is probably one of the hardest jobs that I've ever had, but it comes with the most benefits, I guess, and you meet a lot of really good people. And, but other than YouTube, delivery isn't easy either. Like, people feel like, us delivery drivers, it's easy. It's easy. We just pick up groceries, take it to someone's house, get another groceries, take it to someone's house, like, or food, bring it to their house. It's not, you're running a lot on your vehicle. So I mean, which it is what it is, but we can't really focus more on if our vehicle is going to last or not, because we're still making some really good money. We still got the freedom. I had no freedom when I was working these 9 to 5 jobs. I had no freedom. I feel like all that was going through my head was what I'm going to do tomorrow for work. It's not a way to live, you guys. I was being, and back at the time when I was working all these jobs, I was huge in I was a big alcoholic. I was a big alcoholic. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I was a huge alcoholic, and I would drink every single night, which means that when I got drunk and I had to wake up early in the morning, 7, I didn't wake up until like 7:40. Threw on some dirty clothes, got in my vehicle, and drove 20 minutes to go to work. Yeah, I would literally wake up, have 5 minutes to get ready, and had to leave. Chugging down 5-hour energy shots. Remember those 5 hour? I would chug those down, at least 2 of them, and it would get me all throughout the day. I'd be so pumped up. I would be hung over from the night before. It was a mess, you guys. It was a mess. And I am so grateful that I even made it alive, honestly, after all that. Because that's, whew. But yeah, if we don't need to go through that, we don't need to go through that. If you're in a situation where you may have been where I was, and like your parents or loved ones are telling you that you need to stay in this job, it's such a great job and you're not going to find anything better, there's always better for each and every single one of us. Even though we may not feel like it is, sometimes there's always better. And get the freedom that y'all deserve and that we need sometimes. There was no, in the kitchen that I was working at, and even in the main lobby where all of the customers would sit, there was one window. It was one big window when you first walk through the door. Once you first walk through that door, you are surrounded by like a box. You're in a box. And then you go to the back and it's a kitchen. There's no windows in the kitchen. There was a door that you walk in from the back of the building. That's where the workers had to go through and then clock in. The clock in slips. That's another thing, you guys. Oh my gosh, don't even get me. But anyways, and there was no windows. How you felt suffocated. You were working with 6, 7. No, it was about like 4, 5, 6 of you in the kitchen. One dishwasher, maybe 2 dishwashers a night if it was busy. 2 preps, 2 fryers, and 2 cooks and preps. So 8 people in one kitchen, and it's not even like a huge kitchen. It wasn't even like huge. And get this, going down the stairs, we had to go down the stairs to get like, frozen fries. If we ran up in the kitchen, we had to go downstairs in the basement. And the end of the step, it was always creaky. When you tell your managers, hey, there's a creaky, loose step at the bottom, and they don't fix it, I was waiting one day to just have that stare just snap because I was going to press. I was going to make a complaint, but nothing happened about that. But yeah, you guys, I kind of want to make a part two to this, and I might even make a part two, because I have more to say about it. But if you like this video and you want to see me do a part two, I can go more into depth with the jobs itself, or maybe what all income, even though, you know, I did say I'm doing delivery, but I work for another company also. But I can talk more about that if you'd like. Yeah, because I can talk a lot about my 9 to 5 jobs and why I don't do them anymore. I don't need that. I don't need that, and you don't either. So I hope you guys like the video. And if you want to hear more about my experience, I can talk more about it and go more into depth. I don't feel like I went in the most depth, but I could do that if you'd like. Thank you so much for just being here, for just hearing me, for almost 300 subscribers. Are you kidding me? I told myself before the new year I wanted to get at least 200 subscribers. The fact that I'm almost at 300 and before the new year, oh my gosh. That's amazing, you guys. It's no other greatest feeling than that. So there's almost 300 of us here in our own little safe community. So yes, well, I'm getting off of here. I don't even know what's planned today. It is almost a new year, you guys. Let's make the last few days of 2024 a memorable one. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.